This is the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla in the new full Battle Rattle studios.
I'm talking about not leaving our wounded warriors behind also. Our wounded warriors who come home from the battlefield bringing new battles with them.
Helping our veterans with PTSD. That is the mission of Full Battle Rattle. The amazing group based in New Mexico has been giving vets an outlet through the power of music. They're also the sponsor of this program, and now they're branching out to help vets through another awesome activity. Through the Battle Forge, vets will have the chance to learn the art of blacksmithing. Today, the Full Battle Rattle founder, Rob Mitchell, is here to tell us all about it and share his own personal, powerful story. Plus, we'll have the latest national and Alaska headlines in Sarah Palin news. We'll visit the Crow's Nest with Tanya Crow in California. Also from the Golden State, Kelly Carlson is on target. The Millennial Forecast with Sarah Hagmeyer is coming up from New Jersey, and a brand new installment of Liberty and Legacy with Tamara Colbert in just a moment from Texas. Welcome to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. The Palin Update is sponsored by Full Battle Rattle. Full Battle Rattle, helping veterans suffering from combat-related disabilities through the healing power of music. Learn more at facebook.com/FullBattleRattleABQ. Today, our show focuses on Full Battle Rattle. The founder, Rob Mitchell, a veteran and former police officer, is here to talk about the amazing program and to tell us about a new endeavor as well, all of it geared to help our vets with PTSD. And right now, we welcome Rob Mitchell back to the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Rob, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you?
We are great, and thank you for being with us. And, you know, you were on our show before, but this time a little different. Full Battle Rattle has been our sponsor now for the last few months, and we really appreciate that and really enjoy spreading the word about your amazing cause. And for those who may not be familiar with it yet, let's start right there. Rob, tell everybody a little bit about your backstory and what Full Battle Rattle is.
Sure. So my name is Rob Mitchell. I was in the Army for a total of about 7 years. I did 4 years active duty and 3 years in the Army National Guard, all as an infantryman. And I deployed to Iraq in 2004, part of OIF-2. And I got back home in 2005 after surviving a year of combat. During my combat tour, I was blown up about 3 times by IEDs and survived several hundred mortar attacks and combat patrols. As a result of that time over there in Iraq, I came back home with severe chronic PTSD and mild traumatic brain injury. And then shortly after coming back from the war, I got out of active duty and joined the National Guard. And then shortly after the Guard, I joined the police department here in Albuquerque, where I was a cop for 6.5 years. And then in 2014, while still dealing with my traumas from the war and also actually from being a police officer, I had some issues with my PTSD and had been teaching myself how to play guitar for about a month or so just prior to this, and had a bad episode at work and decided to come home and sat on the couch, didn't really know what the heck to do, but kind of sit there and feel really bad about myself, and decided to just reach over and play my guitar. And within a few minutes, I felt 100% better. And my wife pointed out to me that playing my guitar had done that for me, and that's kind of what sparked my idea of Full Battle Rattle. And that's where we teach veterans how to play guitar, bass, drums, keyboards, whatever they want to learn, as a constructive and creative outlet for PTSD and TBI.
How are you doing now, Rob? I mean, we talked to you a while back, and I've talked to you privately, but let everybody know how you're doing now, because, you know, that was a few years ago, and a lot has happened since then. I know you're doing a lot more, and that's a good sign. So how are things going PTSD-wise and otherwise for you?
I'm doing really well. I'm pretty lucky in that I have a really strong support network. And through my years of dealing with PTSD and mentoring veterans and stuff like that, I've learned a whole lot about PTSD, and I've done a lot of research about it. And I've come to figure out that there's three main pillars to surviving PTSD, and those are a strong support network, creative, constructive outlets, and just the will to fight and win. And as long as you have all three of those, you've got a pretty good shot at beating this thing. And, I really don't want to say beat it, but of surviving it, really. And I've got all three of those. So I'm pretty lucky. A lot of our guys don't have any of those. Some of our guys have two of those. Some of our guys only have one of those. So it's been my mission for the last couple of years to help my fellow brothers and sisters who are struggling to gain those three supports and try to help them survive this battle after combat.
That's interesting because you mentioned a strong support network, and I would think that, this healing power of music that you talk about, maybe for someone who doesn't have that wife like you have or the friends that you have, the music itself could also be that strong support network, at least, on that road to recovery to start.
Absolutely. And even when I talk about a strong support network, I don't necessarily even mean a big, huge web of people you can lean on. It could even just be one person. It could just be a good friend you can talk to, a fellow veteran you can talk to, your counselor, a significant other, or just anybody, who's willing to listen to you and be there for you in your time of need. So it doesn't have to be a whole big web of interconnected people who all hold you up when you're down, It could just be one. And like you said, it could be just the music itself. So you're right, yeah.
Tell us, Rob, how things have expanded since you started. And obviously, I assume things are going well with the Battle Forge now taking shape. Tell us how Full Battle Rattle has grown, and tell us about the Battle Forge.
Yeah, so Full Battle Rattle is getting bigger now. So we have a group class that happens at the VA in the rec center here in Albuquerque. And we have anywhere between 8 to 12 veterans who come every Tuesday to take advantage of that class. And what was really interesting is when I first started this program, my thought would be that it would be all one-on-one instruction. And once we started this group class at the VA, it really showed me that the group model seems to be the most effective. And I don't know why I didn't think about that in the beginning, because it really is just a group of vets who get together and talk to each other, play music together, and bond through that fraternity that is military service that they all have in common. And of course, that's a great way to start building that support network, so it's taught me a lot, really. We're working on expanding into the vet center, which is kind of a VA supplemented counseling organization that's separate from the VA campus itself here in Albuquerque. And we're also looking to expand into the Santa Fe Community College Veteran Resource Center and start a group class there. And also looking into starting another group class at the Santa Fe Vet Center. So we've got a lot of plans to get bigger. We just need more instructors, first of all. And we need more instruments, because I've got the veterans. That's no problem.
Right.
We just need ways to help them.
And this is all volunteerism and contributions, right, as far as the instructors and instruments?
Yeah, because we still don't have our 501c3. We were working on that, and we hit a snag on it. But we're working on getting that, and then I've got a couple irons in the fire, if you will, on that end of things. But, so for right now, we're just a not-for-profit organization of people who want to help people and volunteer while doing it.
And the Battle Forge.
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is next Friday, we're having our official announcement of the Battle Forge. And really what the Battle Forge is another creative, constructive outlet for veterans. And basically what we're going to do is teach the lost art of blacksmithing to veterans, to use that as their creative and constructive outlet for PTSD, TBI, and other service-related disabilities. And we expect to teach guys how to build their own home forge, you know, teach them how to build an anvil, teach them how to start working metal. And it's been a really great outlet for me. I discovered it, again, quite by accident. I was simply just watching the History Channel, and this show came on called Forged in Fire. And I was like, man, that looks really cool. So I started looking up YouTube videos of it, and it was really simple to start getting started with it. And I built my forge at my house for less than $100 in supplies, found a piece of railroad track that I use as an anvil, and I've made some really decent knives already, and I'm having a great time doing it. And so again, I said, well, this is another outlet that vets could use. Let's add this to the program under Full Battle Rattle. So I got with a buddy of mine. His dad used to blacksmith. He's helping us out. And my buddy Josh Long is going to be my sergeant major, if you will, for the Battle Forge. He's going to run the forging program. So it's going to be great, and we're really excited for our kickoff event next Friday. We're going to have Jason E. Jones. He's a combat infantryman who turned comedian, and he's flying in all the way from Nashville to come MC our event and do a comedic set. And then we've got 4 local musical artists who are going to play music for us here. And then we're going to have a ton of raffle prizes and just try to have a great time.
Oh, man, that sounds great. I got to make sure my son doesn't hear about this, or he's going to make me start blacksmithing in the backyard like I'm not busy enough, but it sounds great. I mean, it's a great idea.
Great.
And now you're going to give guys options, you know. Maybe they're musically inclined. Maybe they like this better. Maybe they want to do both. But, you know, Rob, I want to ask you, you've had your own struggles, obviously, PTSD. You had to get yourself well. But how does it feel for you now that you know that you have a hand in making some of your fellow veterans feel better? I mean, that's got to, in turn, make you feel better.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. That's, really aside from my other outlets, the music and blacksmithing, that's really where I get most of my healing from, is when I can see the difference in a vet from where they started to where they are now. That's the biggest healer, that heals me more than anything ever could, more than any counseling session or more than any pill the VA tries to shove down your throat. It's just seeing the change in these guys. And that's what I love about the Battle Forge, because it's so metaphorical in the way where you're turning some old piece of metal that, served some purpose at one time in its life and now is kind of a discarded piece of scrap. And then you put it in the fire, you beat it up a little bit, and it comes out to be this beautiful, functioning, new thing, And that's the beauty of it. It's so metaphorical in the transition that I see in the veterans who do this, because it's kind of like they're going through that same transition as that metal is,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you could totally see that.
Beautiful.
Understandable. How can people help out if they want to donate an instrument, if they're local and can be an instructor, if they want to give funds? Where can they go? How can they help out?
Well, we've still got our Facebook page on Facebook, and it's still Full Battle Rattle ABQ, and you can find us by searching that. We haven't started inviting anybody to the Battle Forge Facebook page yet, because we're kind of waiting for our official kickoff on Friday. But that will be up and running by then. We've got a Teespring campaign for T-shirts for the Battle Forge, and if you haven't seen these T-shirts, you are missing out, because these are amazing T-shirts. And the logo was designed by a really good friend of mine, Matt Weiner, of Still Standing Digital Media House based out of Oregon. And once you see this logo, you're going to want 2 or 3 or 4 of these shirts because it is absolutely beautiful. And you can find the Teespring shirts on teespring.com and search Forging a New Path for Veterans. And that's our slogan for the Battle Forge.
All right.
And that'll be a great way to help us raise funds, because that's how we're going to try to fund building forges for these guys and getting them their initial tools and anvils and stuff.
Yeah, and you get a great T-shirt out of it, too, so double hit there.
Oh, yeah.
Rob, we appreciate. Thank you mostly for your service, not only in our military, also as a police officer. We thank you so much for that. We love saying your group's name every week, Full Battle Rattle, from the Full Battle Rattle Studios, and we wish you the best here with the new endeavor, the Battle Forge. We're going to be keeping an eye on things and hopefully direct people toward these T-shirts and helping you guys out. But again, God bless you, and thank you so much for everything.
No, thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate it. And you guys stay strong, man. We appreciate all the support we get.
For more, please visit facebook.com/fullbattlerattle.abq. Now it's time for Sarah Palin news, headlines, and more about Governor Palin. Governor Palin remembers the crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger. Palin salutes our First Lady, Melania Trump. A great start to President Trump's high-energy presidency. Palin rips the unhinged media for their fake news on steroids and for their lies about the president's plans. Making school lunches great again. Palin thanks NFL legend Jim Brown for taking a stand. Congratulations to Hawkeye Carter on his way to Iowa. Trig Palin takes center stage this past week for his candidness and overall cuteness. A gross T-shirt for kids is featured in a major magazine. Talk about parents who should be ashamed of themselves. Wiener still losing. Palin says this bud is not for you or any of us. The governor features my piece on Rutgers standout Anthony Chaffee and his quest for an NFL career. Whoopi and the far left view continues to spread hate. A former president gets set for the Super Bowl coin flip. Punxsutawney Phil delivers his annual forecast. Palin maps out plans for another rhino hunting season. 2 celebs that voted for Hillary speak some common sense regarding the president. Straight shooting from Iron Mike Ditka. Putting America and our troops first. Picking on Kellyanne Conway, just a distraction tactic. Libs pushing Trump hate at schools. And Palin showcases my article on Tim Tebow and his night to shine. Thank you, Governor. Truly an amazing event from Mr. Tebow. To read about all these stories, visit the Mama Grizzly Radio Facebook page. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety and to read her devotionals, head to Sarah Palin's Facebook page. Follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA. And don't miss the news, sarahpalin.com.
Now let's head to the crow's nest. Here's Tanya Crow.
Thanks, Kevin. I've thought a lot this week about common sense. It forces you to kind of get real with yourself and say, hey, is this working or is this not? What works? What doesn't work? Ideology is a very easy thing to fall into because it's so much easier to think in terms of idealistic point of view that you want to hang on to. But in the end, I kept thinking about this travel ban that everyone's talking about and people are having huge feelings about, positively or negatively. And for me, what comes to mind is, as a mother, if I have a child on a flight with me and something's gone awry and the oxygen masks come down, you first put yours on. You make sure that you are capable of taking care of your child. And I truly do believe that there are certain decisions that are being made that are in that same vein. It's about being a strong and healthy nation. And in order to do that, we have to take care of ourselves first. And when we hear the saying, America first, that's what I relate to. This is Tanya Crow with Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tanya Crow on Mama Grizzly Radio. More from the Crow's Nest next week. Now, on target with Kelly Carlson.
Thanks, Kevin. So, something really interesting, not a good thing, that happened out here in California. But it raises a really good question or questions. I don't know how I feel about it. Personally, I'm still trying to figure it out. But here's what happened. There was a Marine who was carrying a firearm in his car. He was being harassed, and let me say he had his wife in the car with him too. They were leaving dinner, and they were on their way back to a hotel, their hotel. But they ran into somebody that was exhibiting a lot of road rage, and the road rage guy persisted to follow the Marine to his hotel. The Marine got out of the car, and I believe the other guy did too, and the Marine pulled out his gun and rounded off a warning shot. I believe he just shot one, but it may have been two. I'm unclear about it. So the Marine goes into his hotel room with his wife. The police come. He's barricaded in, but ends up getting arrested. He wasn't resisting arrest, and he was put in jail on $50,000 bail. Okay, so here's the debate here. I know a lot of people that carry firearms without a concealed carry, and their philosophy is, they'd rather be alive, and that's their rationale. And I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. But here's what's interesting. So I'm sure this Marine, and I actually happen to know this Marine's brother personally, probably carried a firearm. He's trained. He's a Marine. He knows how to operate a firearm well. He probably carried it because of worst case scenario, he has to protect himself and his family. Except for something happened and he actually had a moment where he needed to decide whether to use it or not. And so it begs the question, who was right in this scenario? Because the Marine was arrested. Okay, so he pulled out his firearm and discharged one as a warning shot, but it's not funny, but ironically, I guess, there's no such thing as rounding off a warning shot. It's attempted murder. That's how they see it. At least that's what the talk is out here. Now, how come nobody's holding the guy accountable that chased him back to his hotel? So my argument is, this guy is put in jail on $50,000 bail. But what was this guy doing, the road rage guy, that the Marine felt like he actually had to discharge his firearm? Now, most people don't think you don't brandish a weapon unless you're going to use it. Well, I can guarantee you the Marine would have hit this guy if he wanted to. So he was put in a sticky situation. You probably didn't want to murder the guy, but this guy wasn't backing down. Nobody is talking about the fact that the road rage guy followed him to a hotel. Stalking, harassment, a threat. Also, the Marine not only has to protect himself, but he has to protect his wife too. I can understand maybe feeling like you have to use the firearm. You have two bodies instead of one to protect. So when the Marine pulled out his firearm, the road rage guy didn't back down. The Marine felt like he had to round off a warning shot. Nobody's talking about that, though. Nobody's talking about the road rage guy persisting the harassment to the point where a trained marksman, he's a Marine, he has to know every single Marine knows how to use a firearm very well, or a rifle. He put the Marine in the position to pull out his firearm and to use it. I don't know. I never want to be in that position, not having a concealed carry. But I also, what if the guy didn't have a firearm? If you think about it, he wasn't backing down to the Marine having a firearm, so he had to use it. So what if he didn't have his firearm? It's interesting because California out here, nobody's even talking about the responsibility of the guy in the other vehicle. And that a vehicle can be a weapon. And the Marine's trying to protect himself and his wife. It's very unfair. The whole gun laws thing can put good people into really, really life-altering situations that are valid. Meaning, the choice that the Marine may have made could have been valid. I wasn't there. Or maybe he was too hasty about it. But regardless, nobody's holding the road rage guy responsible for his actions. And that upsets me. More on this later. I'm just watching this whole situation play out, trying to figure out, really, what do we do with these gun laws? God forbid you have to protect your life. This is Kelly Carlson with Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in for more On Target next week. It's time for the Millennial Forecast. Here's Sarah Hagmeyer.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Have you ever heard or used Uber before? I have. It's a great app. I've used it once or twice myself, and it's just super convenient. When I need to hail a taxi, all I had to do was request a driver on my phone. They showed up, I got in, and then I was off to wherever I needed to go. Recently, though, they've been in the spotlight for political reasons, and I'm just disappointed. The CEO of Uber recently withdrew his spot on the Trump Council of Business Advisors. Since Uber has a very unique and successful business model, I thought it was great that he was going to have that position. But, of course, after about 200,000 users heard about this announcement, they deleted his app, which, of course, resulted in his withdrawal. And it's just insanity to me because it wasn't always this way. I remember when the app was once hiring thousands of veterans. They hired almost 50,000 veterans in last year of April, and those veterans were given a nice paying job and a job with military benefits through the Uber company. But that's changed now because Uber caters to the Muslim community. Since the immigration ban was put in place, the drivers are going to be affected, and of course the business will also suffer from the loss of drivers. The company did take action, and on Twitter they explained how they will be buying plane tickets for those affected, and they will also receive about 3 months' salary for the financial stress this may cause. And I'm just wondering, what about the veterans? I'm sure they would have liked to have a 3 month salary for their financial stress and burdens, and they deserve all of that and more because they served our country. And I appreciate the Uber drivers who work and provide safe transportation, but my Uber driver may not even be a citizen in my country. And it's times like these where I wish we would just focus more on the veterans, because they are the ones who served our country. They did fight for our freedoms. They sacrificed, their family sacrificed so much for us. And I just wish they had those same opportunities, because they are the ones that deserve it. But from now on, I'll just drive myself, even though we can most likely forecast that most millennials won't even bother. For Mama Grizzly Radio, I'm Sarah Hagmer, and that was your Millennial Forecast.
And next week, we'll have a new edition of the Millennial Forecast right here on the Palin Update. Now, the Palin Update with Kevin Scholla presents Liberty and Legacy. Here's Tamara Colbert.
I know I'm not the only one who's had it about up to here with the snowflakes, the cowards, the masked anarchists, and all the other little bobblehead thumbsuckers causing divisive, deceitful destruction of our civil society, private and public property. I'm over you. You're yesterday. Besides the fake news and all these well-funded anarchist groups by George Soros, the Pew Foundation, Ford Foundation, and others, I'm done. Our country doesn't want you. Deal with the fact Donald Trump is president. I just think it's so hilarious because out of everything we're seeing, it all comes back to one thing. You lost. Loser. Donald Trump is a winner. He won the presidency. You lost. Even your terrible candidate, Hillary Clinton, who tried to set up the entire and rig the entire election for her to win, she still lost. That's how bad she is. It's how terrible her policies are. You all lost. You've lost more power in the last 100 years because of terrible policy than you've ever had. You are ineffective. You have had the least amount of power since 1920, and now you're mad. All the little snowflake coloring book, puppy dog wielding students from public universities, you're pathetic and you're disgusting. And how dare you even claim to be an American? Please. So Trump signs an executive order to maintain this extreme vetting of individuals. Riots. Oh, wait a second. Fake news forgets to say that he basically took the same order Barack Obama had given more than 3 years ago. Suddenly, federal judges are coming out of the woodwork to protest and speak out. Where were you when Obama trashed the Constitution? Where were the hypocritical anarchists when Obama was subverting the views of Christians in America? By the way, just so we are clear on who's being persecuted, in 2016, more than 90,000 Christians were killed around the world. Where's the outrage? Where's the protest and the crocodile tears? Do you hear that? Exactly. Nothing. Crickets. It's way beyond now the little scared and fearful snowflakes. I'm tired of the destruction. I'm tired of all the noise of these little mosquitoes. You know, Mr. President Trump, I really don't want my tax dollars going to fund anything on not just the UC Berkeley campus, but any public campus that doesn't allow free speech. Did you guys know that Berkeley receives more than half of their annual funding from federal grants and directly from the U.S. government? That amounts to about $360 million. And a Breitbart editor was prevented from going and holding a rally on that campus because the communists didn't want him to. Yes, I said it clearly. Go check the Daily Caller. Do the research on the group that planned for a long time to go against this Milo rally at UC Berkeley. You can find it on their websites. I'm not even going to mention their names, but I checked out their website, and it specifically says they get their funding from the Revolutionary Communist Party in America. How about that? And this little group is also funded by, yes, George Soros. Thank you, Lord, that I live in Texas. That's all I have to say. Because this week, I had a massive liberty injection. 400 volunteers and me and my family went to the Capitol in Texas, went to Austin to talk, to listen, to meet with state legislators, more importantly, to hear Governor Greg Abbott's State of the State address. It was so exciting. We had an indication he was going to talk about the Convention of States Project Resolution, SJR2 and HJR 39. What we didn't know is that he made it an emergency item for this year's legislature. That means he made it a priority and told the legislators that was one of his top 4 priorities this session. He also emphasized the importance of stopping the sanctuary city mumbo jumbo. That means our governor and lieutenant governor are not messing around. When it comes to somebody pretending to be a sanctuary city, a sanctuary county, 24 hours after his State of the State address, Governor Abbott pulled $1.5 million from Travis County when its sheriff said she would not enforce the law and would maintain her county as a sanctuary for illegals. Essentially thumbing her nose, not just at Governor Abbott, at the rule of law. A woman who has sworn her oath to uphold the rule of law, her sworn duty as a sheriff of Travis County, and she just went, neener, neener, neener. I know better than you, citizens of Texas. I am an elite politician. I don't have to uphold the rule of law because I don't want to. Doesn't that sound like a petulant little spoiled brat? Well, it's exactly what all these little anarchist communists are. My goodness. I love it when someone means what they say and they actually do it. Donald Trump every day wakes up thinking about what can I do to fulfill my promises to get America working again and to make America great again. Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick here in Texas, they mean the same thing and they're doing it. I don't know about you, but I am ready for shepherds, leaders, and superheroes in state and local government who have the cojones to go up against the bad hombres who challenge the rule of law, who want anarchy and a complete destruction of our civil society. And when I say bad hombres, I'm using it in a very inclusive manner. I don't know about what you're going to do. I will not kowtow to bullying, smear tactics, and threats. Unlike the owner of Uber, who this week kowtowed to these little anarchists who put out a list of their 33 companies they're asking for people to boycott. How pathetic. Really? But it really irked me when Nordstrom's canceled Ivanka Trump's line of clothing and shoes. Because her clothes are fabulous, comfortable, and affordable. I love them. I mean, I've always been a Nordstrom shopper, but even Nordstrom's, a conservative company, kowtowed to the pressure of these little snowflakes, who, by the way, shop at thrift stores, Nordstrom's. You kowtowed to people who don't even shop in your store. When's the last time you saw a college student from UC Berkeley with a Nordstrom's credit card that went in to buy something at the MAC Cosmetics counter? It doesn't happen. You people are ridiculous. Come on. Shame on you. And shame on the college professors and all this entertainment-driven fake media and fake news that has indoctrinated our young people now for 2 generations. These socialist teachers and college professors haven't taught our kids how to think for themselves, question authority, or maintain a healthy dose of curiosity, but rather they've indoctrinated our youth to think one way, never question the left's authority, reject everything else. Common sense has no place in our society because America is inherently evil. Oh, praise God, he has raised up a leader for our time in Donald Trump. But look around, because it's not only Donald Trump. There have been leaders before that have made the hard decisions, who have led by courage and bravery, even when no one was looking. Before Trump, it was Sarah Palin. She got blasted and didn't deserve it. Governor Palin, shout out. I love you. You are my sister in Christ. I will stand with you anytime, anywhere, at any place to speak truth and shed light on the snowflakes. Before Sarah, it was Ronald Reagan. Before Reagan, it was John F. Kennedy. You know, there's a lot of theories out there. Was he or was he not assassinated in order to stop him from cutting taxes and maintaining people having to have integrity and immigration laws? I don't know. What we need to stop doing is putting our faith and trust in one single person and shore up our faith in each other, our founding documents, and the courage and the conviction that truth will always win. I stand on the side of truth. The Bible tells me so. And that shores up my faith, which enables me to walk and speak boldly for what is right, even when no one might be looking. You I pray that you will feel confident and have the courage to do the same, because now is the time to pull up your bootstraps, folks, and support our president. Stand with those who fight for right, for life, for liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Let's give his ideas a try. For goodness sakes, we had to endure 8 years of bad, terrible Obama policies. The least we can do is give Donald Trump a chance, right? I am so blessed to be working with 2.1 million volunteers, exactly like those people I just described, with the Convention of States Project, working toward real structural fixes to the Constitution so that real reform and real policy doesn't last one presidency, but for generations. And I am so thankful that our founders included Article 5 of the Constitution. Tweet me this week all your outrage about these snowflakes. I want to hear from you. Hashtag Mama Grizz Radio. Send it to @Tamara Colbert. I can't wait to talk to you. Have a blessed week and stand up and fight. Our time is now. And yes, we are going to win. I'm Tamara Colbert for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tamara Colbert in Texas. Tune in for more Liberty and Legacy next week. And to learn about Convention of States, head to conventionofstates.com. The Palin Update, including Liberty and Legacy, the Millennial Forecast, On Target, and the Crow's Nest is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook. Also, follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Tamara Colbert, at Tanya Yoga 13, at S. Hagmeyer 2, and at FBR ABQ. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Just go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I'm also contributing to SarahPalin.com. So please check out my latest piece this week. Honored to be working on the governor's new site. I want to thank Tamara Colbert, Tanya Crow, Kelly Carlson, Sarah Hagmeyer, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Rob Mitchell, and thank you for listening today. Special thanks to our sponsor, Full Battle Rattle. Visit Facebook.com/Full Battle Rattle ABQ. The Palin Update is produced by Lena Anderson, the Andy L. Kramer, and Lori Ann Lewis. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.